How's everybody this fine Tuesday? Well, today, well, this week is supposed to be Music Week. Good morning. How you doing, Audio Eric? Thanks for joining. Today's supposed to be music / sound effects week, but I wanted to show off, at least first, I asked a friend of mine, you might know him as @Slat Studios on Twitter, who's working on the EGA SCI game Betrayed Alliance right now. I asked him to do a screen for me, and he, son of a gun, pulled through and made something quite nice for me for the entrance of Hagatha's Cave. It is lovely, and it works. Everything fits. Everything's good to size and all that. It looks wonderful. So there's just a couple things I want to do to it. I'm not going to change how it visually looks at all, I don't think, but I need to be able to walk through this area here to get to the other screen. So far he's just got it so you can only walk up here. I'm going to make it so you can also walk through this way. So I'm going to do that right now. Oh, hey, Slat Studio. Yeah, there he is. There's the man. The man of the hour. It's a lovely screen. I am very happy with it. Thank you, sir, for helping me out with that. Now, what I did was, one other thing I did off camera, off stream, was I set the priority for the arch to be blue, so that when you go under it, you're drawn underneath it. But I changed this control area here so he can't walk any higher than this, because if he goes any higher than this, he'll hit his head. So he kind of walks underneath the arch now, which is kind of nice. Just a quick little edit there I made. Over here, oh, there's the skull on the rock, which he threw in there, which I think is kind of neat. Okay, so I need to go to where these rocks are drawn. Probably say this. Let's see. Probably be, well, let's have a look at this for a second. Probably be green or cyan. Yeah, cyan. It's right there at the cusp of cyan, so that's where we'll do it. We'll do priority cyan. Get rid of that now. And turn it off there. That line being drawn 182.5. Oh, up here. I see it. Yeah, we don't need that drawn there. Hello, Summer. Flat, thanks. I wish I knew there was a walkway there. I could have made it appear more. Oh, that's okay. It's kind of obscured in the original anyway. It's fine. It'll work just fine, sir. I think people will intuitively see here in the AGI screen, this whole area you can walk behind. and then this little area up here as well where you had it. Like this is just one. This is just one rock, and then these rocks are farther away, as you can see here, where they match up on this other side. No biggie, man. No biggie. It's great. I can handle this this tedious little stuff. Just trying to find where. There we go, where it's filled in. Fill it in with. I gotta cut it off. Off there. Turn it on there. I think that'll do it for that piece of rock. And all I gotta do is get rid of that ground line there. There. Let's try it. Oh, I didn't change the control yet. Gotta be able to walk there. Let's see. Okay, and let's just say right from here will be like that, and well, it's cyan, so it can be at least this high. So we'll put her up to the blue line, I think. Here up to there. Oh, I keep doing that. What's the matter with me? There. There we go. Just gotta make sure the fills don't. Okay, let's try that. Love this music. Lower Bow 2, yes, that's what it is. Exactly. No, this is, oh, is that the last one? This one is Police Quest 3. The last one was Lower Bow 2. I actually haven't played Lower Bow 2 yet. Nothing beyond the very beginning of the game, anyway. Of course, I haven't even beaten the first one. Except a long time ago with a walkthrough when I was a kid. Luckily, I don't remember anything from it anymore. So I should attempt it again, actually. I mean, I've seen the ending, so I know both endings. There we go. And we can see. Except, you know what? I think I'd like this rock to be a part of this bunch and not walk behind it. But we can walk into the cave here so he doesn't hit his head there. And I'm just going to replace the code. I have it so that if he walks inside of a rectangular space, it changes the room. I'm going to change that to a control color instead. So maybe so you can, like, walk right into that cave there. I'll try that. Okay. So I just need to make it not top bit here. I'm gonna get rid of. Come on. Okay. Alright, so right there I gotta turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it on. Too early. Or too late. There we go. That's where I want it. Except when it's drawing up there. Turn that off. Turn it Okay, I think that'll do it. Yeah. Last test, hopefully. There we go. Yeah, that I like that. Nice. So, yeah. Quick little edits. Nothing, I mean, relatively speaking, nothing crazy. I think that's quite nice. Now, I'm just going to change this rectangular thing to an actual control color. Get rid of the viz, go back to the control. How far can he walk in there? Whoops. Before getting stopped. Yeah, that's probably far enough. So I'll put a control color of... See, something I don't really use. Blue, green, teal, and red are for water, mostly. Purple is for changing rooms. Changing rooms on the horizon. So let's go with brown. I mean, that's what I've used them for. It doesn't have to be that, but that's what I've used them for. So let's say anything. Here. So when he touches brown, and might as well disable it. So here I have the code here. If ego is in rectangle, and then the coordinates for the rectangles, send the room here. I'm going to change this to if southwest. Oh, it's the water region script. Or, no, it's not. It's hello, Davor. Can Graham fit in the cave? Yes, he can. I've tested it. Check it out. So what I've done is, it's a pretty low cave, but let's say Haggith is kind of one of those witches that has that's pretty short and has a hunch. So it fits for her, but Graham does fit. So I've blocked him here, so whoops. So if he goes in from here, he doesn't go in because he'll hit his head, obviously. But right down here, it's quite enough. The arch goes over his head, and I just gotta get rid of that inrect code. That screen looks great. Yes, it does. Great job, Slat Studios, who helped me out with that. Yeah, he. I mentioned that Graham was 49 pixels tall, and he raised things a little bit, but this works out. I think it works out great. I like that it's smaller, and he's kind of looks like you might have to hunch if it were you going in there, 'cause, you know. So in rect. No, not in rect. In that's the init method. Where's the do it method? This screen has purple, doesn't it? Yeah, right there. No do it method in this room. Oh, here it is. It's at the bottom. Oh, that's why I didn't see it. So if and G on control. So I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna copy this. I'm gonna try to do it from memory, just so I have it in my head. So if and G go on control is equal to CTL purple. Is there an underscore? No, there is not. There is no underscore. Or it's not purple though, it's brown. Oh look, it even shows the color. That's pretty nice. That's a handy feature, Mr. Phil Fortier. But I can't select it. I have to type it in. Okay. So if and G go on control brown, G game, what is it? G room, new room. Shouldn't have deleted that. Okay, I am gonna copy this. Cycle my way back. New room 69. Okay. Now I should be able to go a little deeper into that cave. Not use the temporary placeholder rectangle code. We get a fair ways into that cave now before. I'd like to appear maybe a little further inside the cave too when we come out of it. So if previous room number is 69, position at, say 250 by 112, 113. I just want to see what that looks like. Whoops, not the intro. Just go to 69. Yeah, I could stand to be a little further in. Say 5. Yeah. I like to see a good chunk of him inside the cave before it changes rooms. Maybe even more than that, honestly. I like to see him just disappear right into the cave. So let's right here. Let's say far. And then when we get down to the, oh dear me. Right. I added this. It needs to be a little bit longer. There we go. And then the brown. Let's move the brown in, say, here. And move the fill there. Save, rebuild, run game. This way I don't have to change the rectangle coordinates in the script every time I move things around. If it's corresponding to the color, it just happens automatically. Maybe like there. Let's see. How do I get Ego's position again? Global variable. It's not a global variable. Object. Objects. LG Ego is here. Inspect. No. Inspect Ego. X and Y is not there. It's just 0. Everything is 0. This is the Sierra debug. And I can't remember how to work it correctly. Inspect. What are the objects? What's on this screen? Oh, what if I do A? No. Gonna be streaming drawing swamp screen concept at 6 EST today, but in a drawing program. I don't know Phil's tools yet. Oh, nice. I'm gonna jump in on that if I can make it. Am I gonna be off by then? No, I'm working afternoons today, so I might not make it, but check it out later if I can't make it right away. 6 EST. What's that central? Is that like 4 central? No, Eastern is not maritime, right? So you're an hour ahead of me. So it'd be 5 o'clock EST. I might be a little late, but I might make it. Yeah, the select feature 5 central, yeah. Yeah, select features autocomplete is buggy. Works sometimes, not others. Been a busy week and a half. Did Slats do the cave exterior? Yes, he did. It does look very Slats. Tried to limit my particular quirks. I guess I failed. Oh, dude, it's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for making it. I like the way, like, these rocks can look a little different from the rest but they're not so bad because they look like all piled up and then after they've been piled like this, it just like nature overgrown over it all. You know what I mean? And they're right next to the water, so it looks more jagged. I don't have a lot of rocks anyway, so let's see, what do we got here? Yeah, this is not anything, well, except for this. But these are like water smooth rocks. And there's not much rock here. Oh look, it's a little Red Riding Hood. My son is getting his breakfast. This works. It's fine. I like it. It's great. I wouldn't have asked you to do it if I didn't like your style, so. Would love to have you. No worries if you're busy. It's not a bad thing. I like it. Oh, is the pond screen next to the swamp the best reference for the style of tree generally? The pond next to the swamp. This one? Or this one? Yeah, I think... Well, these aren't some of my best trees, but... I want to try to get more trees looking like this, where there's not so much black going on. This is more in the shade, I guess, so... But... here's another one here. It's just so much black. I don't want it to look this crazy. But it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb now. My trees kind of go all over the place, so Yeah, I'd say the pond is the best reference to go by. I got other kinds of trees too, like if we go over here, well, these are similar. Like that. Now that I'm over here, I gotta read them. Whoops. Restart. So these are old trees. I don't like them as much anymore. I still kind of like this tree, but it's in the shade. These trees here are more in the shade. Like this is what I was trying to like vary it up a bit. So I got a couple of birch trees, which I've never used again. And then this tree in the back has a red reflected light here, and then this one is like all black and gray for no reason, just for variety, because all of my trees are brown. And I know King's Quest 1 kind of varies the colors of the trees a bit. There's an evergreen right here. And then this tree. But yeah, pond is good. I was confused by the hut a bit, but it looked like she built it up to have a chimney and put stuff on top of to make it a home. Oh, that makes sense. Maybe the inside should reflect that as well then. Trying to get back up there. Like, in here, there maybe should be like a little stone-shaped chimney thing going up. Just to have it. But yeah, I mean, I originally always just saw it as a natural construction, but this is way cooler, and I like it as a kind of a shift in design for the remake, kind of like what King's Quest 1 SCI did. So I love that's a really cool idea. Let me know if that one or something from another game is what I should target. Well, if you're targeting trees, target King's Quest 1 SCI. That's what I'm trying to emulate. So when in doubt, go for King's Quest 1 SCI. That's what ultimately I want this to look like, or what I'm trying to shoot for. Just don't want mine to stick out too much. Yeah, the birch is nice. I should use it more often. They're only in that one screen because I copied the design from some trees in King's Quest 1 as well for those birch trees there. Jimmy thing was in the AG art too, so I kept it. Is it? Oh yeah, I kind of thought I can see how that looks like a chimney. I kind of just pictured it as like a natural formation, jagged shapes, but having it a chimney too, that could be, yeah. Like it would be just right around this corner in this alcove when you enter. Something like that. Oh, okay, cheers. That makes a ton of sense. Yeah, I'm definitely going to reference some of the spookier King's Quest 1 backgrounds, like where the witch attacks you. Yes. Also, yeah. So King's Quest 1 and Colonel's Bequest maybe to a degree as well, as far as spooky swamp areas go. But I know Colonel's Bequest is like a bayou, but maybe you won't even need to reference Colonel's Bequest. Maybe you can come up with something on your own that looks creepy. That's just what I had my mind on, like, because Colonel's Bequest has a creepy swamp. But yeah, definitely King's Quest 1 first and foremost. Cool. Alright. SCI companion. Yeah, I think that's good now. The screen is complete. Thank you again, Slot Studios. I am very happy, very impressed, very... what's another word? Placated. So, I've got, like, the first... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The first 9 screens. And then there's the swamp here, obviously. these areas. Swamp, swamp, swamp. Antique shop is kind of the next one that's not a swamp screen to do. And then this beach screen, and then this forest screen where the stake is. Swamp, swamp, swamp. Random screen. Random screen. That's where the trident is. No, the trident is here. Random beach screen. This is where this Easter egg sign is. If you type read sign, it's a advertisement for some other Sierra games. Swamp, swamp, swamp. Another random screen, and I did that one. That's the trident. And this is where you get the bracelet. The witch appears in these two screens. I know that. Oh, the bracelet, not the bracelet. The necklace. You find the necklace in this log. And then the beach with the jagged rocks next to Hagatha's cave. The dwarf's house. Still a fair amount to do. Underwater. This needs to be totally redesigned, I think. It looks way too simple inside Dracula's castle. Keep the same layout, but as far as the look of it goes, that's got to change to something else. And then all the interiors. We got one interior done. And the tower realm. Oh, and these two screens were made by Andrew Branscombe, aka Collector of Sierra Help Pages. He took some tower stairway scenes from King's Quest IV and added this window with purple light coming in. I have to do all the priority and control and everything because it was drawn with the import bitmap tool rather than drawn by hand, which is workable. Yeah, King's Quest is my favorite, but King's Quest II is a daytime game, sadly. Yes, I do want to have, like, I was mentioning this before, I have some like darker clouds overhead. Obviously, it can't be as dark as Colonel's Bequest. I understand that, but again, that was my only reference because I'm not an artist. But you being an artist can go above and beyond. You can probably see stuff here that I can't see. So I'm looking forward to what you do. Definitely as overcast as possible, yeah. And like the actual island screen when you're on the island, where is it? This one right here, as well as this one. I'm gonna get that to be as dark as possible. But as far as these exterior screens here, yeah. So, what's next? Now that that's done, I guess we get to some music. What music should I get into? I don't really have any areas that need a theme yet. And I'm highly inspired musically by the graphics. That's how when I write game music, I reference the game art a lot. So I can feel what it's like to play the game and what I'd like to hear in that situation. I suppose I could do a church theme. Not really feeling that today though. We've got a bearded dragon in a tank. He's going crazy this morning. I don't have music for the intro, but the intro's not scripted out yet. It's just bare bones. Space Quest demo. I'll leave that. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do in the way of music. Finished the title theme. But all I have as far as finished game content is concerned. I'm just trying to see what grabs me. What needs to be done right now. Some background art, certainly. I don't have anything to trace over, though. I suppose I could do this beach screen with the log. This is where the clam will be. do another beat screen. And reference this screen. And use that as the trace. Probably copy the palette from here. Got all these colors here. So let's copy that, paste it. I wondered about putting some dark clouds on the Hagatha Cave picture, but didn't know. No, I think it's fine the way it is there. We can't signpost every evil area too much, because it can seem like, what is this cave? It looks interesting. There's a like, if no one's played the game before, there's a bat symbol on it. Maybe there's danger, and then finding out it's the hideout of one of the bad guys in the game. I think that's good. I'm looking forward to. Sadly, because it's EGA, there are just only so many references. Yeah, I think the castle screen proper can just cheat and be at night. Magic. Yes, it's that evil that, you know, daytime just can't exist there. It'd be nice to have some like thunder too, but that might be going too far. Thunder and lightning. I keep meaning to share my Betrayed Alliance music with you, but keep forgetting. Oh yeah, yeah. Just send it to me. Yeah. Ooh, or his mix. That would be rad. I used some yellow, light gray dither on Hagatha's screen. Hope it doesn't contrast too much. No, that's perfect. You used all the colors that... Whoops, I just closed that one. Dang it. I'd like to keep that open. Hagatha. Yellow, light gray, dither on the Hagatha. You mean right here where the sand is? That's perfect. I love those details. That's like just coarse sand. And all the other areas here are just kind of like brown dots of like pebbles and stuff inside the sand. But that area around Hagatha's cave is being a little more rough. Makes sense. And coarse. And maybe lumpy. Maybe a little more solid, not so smooth. I like that. Yeah, and like, well, Colonel's Bequest had some lightning in EGA. Even Space Quest 4 had lightning in EGA, but didn't, you know, mess up the whole screen. However, we can fake lightning flashes that make the whole screen brighten up with alternate palette entries, like they do with nighttime scenes in Quest for Glory. I could make one palette look like it's lightning flashing, and then just switch between them really fast. I'm not sure how effective that would be in practice, if it would be feasible on like slower systems. We're not aiming for slower systems, obviously, but if it would be fast enough. I know that VGA games do that. I think Quest for Glory 4 in the Choose Your Character screen has a lightning flash. I think it's an overlay picture. Let's see if I can find it. Quest for Glory Hanth, Quest for Glory 4 CD. I never played the game, so... Yeah, here. See that? I think that might be, that's what it looks like to me. And it's just drawn on top. I don't know. I could be completely wrong about that. But I just remembered seeing that. Anyway, I think we can do that. I'm gonna try, and then just swap between the two palettes really quickly. King's Quest 1. Let's get that back up. Oh, I forgot that was the thing. Wait, can that work for views? No. Views won't be affected by different palettes, but you can have different animation cells. Then you have to have one for gram. Unless the palette shift wasn't that crazy, like it just highlighted certain sections of the picture. So it'd be drawn in such a way that maybe you'd have double of the same color. And for like maybe the topmost edges where light would shine down on objects on the screen, that would be drawn in a different gray color than the gray underneath. And so when you switch the palette, only those colors would shift. Kind of like that example in Quest for Glory 2 we discovered last week, where there's one picture, but when you change the palette, it completely changed the horizon because one of the hills and dunes in the distance were drawn in yellow in one palette, but in the other palette was blue like the sky, so it disappeared. Trickery like that is possible if we want to go that deep into it. Here's a link to the music on YouTube. This is all from book 1. Oh good, I'll check that out. How many palette swaps are available? There's 4 in every screen. Wow, that looks kind of neat there. You know what? I mean, I'm not going to use this, but this color combination for the ground looks like something that would be perfect for the tower realm. Like, the sand is all, like, nice here, but if we kind of use this orangey looking stuff, that would look pretty neat. This looks very alien now. So there's 4 palettes for every screen, and only for the backgrounds. Roberta wanted King's Quest IV to cycle morning, day, evening, and night, but I don't think that made it to final. It did not. Quest for Glory 1 and 2. 2 definitely has 4 different palettes for certain screens, and I think it's day, evening, night, morning. Some of the screens had 4 different palettes anyway, and they looked alright, so it must have been... Yeah. But for King's Quest IV, it was just day and night. And they didn't even use palettes for that. The feature was right there, and they didn't use it. Exactly double of the same color. How does the King's Quest IV lantern work? I don't know. Gotta wonder if that's how the Tower Realm colors came to be. Yeah, I wonder if the whole screen was just a mistake. Well, there's not different palettes in AGI anyway, so. But I like that. I like the orange look. Let's just say the Tower Realm has orange sand. The KQ4 lantern and also the gem in Space Quest 2. I don't know how that works. In AGI, no less. When you're walking, it's glowing and affecting the walls around you as part of the picture. Like, I recall someone, I think it was Mark or Scott or somebody. I can't remember who said it, but they were kind of amazed at how the glowing gem in Space Quest 2 looked and worked when you're in the caves. Because it highlights and flashes the background. I don't know how it does that. I'm gonna have to look it up. If you can do it in AGI, you must be able to do it in King's Quest 4, something like that. Not that we have a glowing gem, but certainly King's Quest 4's lantern will work. It would be... Yeah, I don't... King's Quest 4 does kind of the same thing, doesn't it? I'll have to really dig into that code. I wonder if that's... Okay. Is there a cutout method? Priority colors so it only highlights certain parts? That's not how priority colors work, though. I mean, I can see the... Yeah, I don't know. Just off the top of my head, I can't... Like, there's a black background, Q-colored background, and the lantern tells you where to cut through with to the colored one. Okay. I see what you mean. So it's only the edges. Now I want to check it out. Open King's Quest 4. It's probably one of these black screens, right? Yeah, okay, so we got lots of priority going on. Oh yeah, you can see that, look. So in the priority, it's got different priority colors for the highlights of the rocks, so that the lantern light itself is drawn behind the highlights, so it's like dark, but you can see the rock. But that's kind of brilliant. That is brilliant. Control is just normal. That makes sense. Yeah, same thing here. That's a brilliant use of priority. So it's programmed, the shine is programmed to be, okay, where's the purple? Yeah. So it's yellow down here, but the lantern will be drawn behind these pink lines, but on top of the yellow, so you can see the rock, and you can make out its shape from these highlights, as if it's casting a shadow on the rock. Because, okay, so in priority, anything drawn above, okay, so each priority color has a line on the screen, obviously a band, where a set Y coordinate, if you will. Anything drawn above that coordinate line will be drawn behind that color on screen. So this pink color is a lower color than the yellow. Actually, so it should be the opposite then, shouldn't it? Either way, that's got to be the way it works. Yeah, it's yellow and then magenta. If there's a black Q color and the line tells you your color. I'm really curious how that works. Okay, all that's in it. Yeah, it's this is kind of like not as crazy, but it's similar to my method of getting the reflections right in the pawn screens like this, which is just extremely nutty. So anything black, the reflection will show up on, but I also need the reflection to be behind the reflection of the tree when I'm actually behind the tree, so that's gonna be like, it's nuts. And since I don't want the reflection to be on the ground, but I do want the ego to be drawn on top of the ground, I have to color in all these priority bands manually and set the priority of my reflection one lower than ego himself. So on these, when he's walking on these bands, the reflection is drawn behind it, but ego's not. So it's not as crazy as that, but it's like that. So the lantern has a lower priority than ego, and ego can be drawn on stuff that lantern can't. Yes. Exactly. So the lantern light will have a certain priority. Let's just look at it. This could not be opened because... Do I have this decompiled? I don't have King's Quest 4 decompiled. Let's decompile it. Take a look. Select all, decompile. Might manipulate the lantern's priority to be less than ego's in the do it method, for instance. Yeah. So it'd be pretty much very similar to my reflection code, where the reflection is one priority less than ego, and it just follows it everywhere it goes, everywhere she goes. Okay, now we come in here, room 71. Let's see, what do we got? Get down. There's no instances in this room. 71. Is there a region in this room? Set region 605. Reg troll. Okay, so this is the troll script. The light. The light is part of the troll script, region script. So we have a view of 967 and loop 4, which is 967. Yep, there it is, loop 4, and this animates, and it has a priority, which is not set yet, but it has methods. So the init method, it'll position itself same as ego's X position, but 3 pixels less than ego's Y position. It ignores actors, which means it'll walk through anything, which it should. It's set cycle to forward, so it's always animating, and it's a prop, not an actor, so it doesn't move on its own. It's just its position is set wherever ego is, which is the same thing I did with the reflection. And the priority is, there it is, ego priority -1. 1 less priority level than ego, which likely means that you can only go up so far. Yet you can't walk up past this line, which just so happens to be right around the teal priority line. I would expect it to be higher up, but what about here? Yeah, you can only go so far up there. Same thing. Because if you go to the lowest priority, all of a sudden there's no more priorities to be less than, so you'll be the same priority as ego, which you know obviously can't have, which is the same reason why in my screens I had to cut off at the blue and not be able to walk any higher than that. So anything higher than blue, that just changes the room. That's one limitation to this, because there's only 16 priority colors and they're all set. You can't change their location. So reg troll, and it's it. So in the do it method, which executes every game cycle, it's always positioning the same as ego's X and 3 less than ego's Y, and it's always setting the priority 1 less than ego, which ego's priority changes automatically depending on what Y value you're walking on, unless you set that manually, which you can override and do that if you need to. Do music. This is the cave troll music. Rosella walks pretty restrictively on that screen, if I recall correctly. Yeah. I should mention this on Minamata's stream tonight. Is she streaming tonight? I want to make it for that, too. I've missed her stream quite a lot, and I feel bad about it. Us EGA developers gotta stick together, you know? I am not talking in my frame, am I? Jumping. Sorry, guys. Oh, that had to have been annoying. Come on. There we go. She tried at one point to do something similar. Yeah, it makes sense. Sadly, I need to bounce. I'll have to catch the VOD of this if there's any more cool explanation. Cool. Yeah, she's 7 p.m. Central Time, 10-ish. Okay. See you, Davor. Thanks for dropping by, and I will, I'll catch your stream as well if I can. See you later, man. Okay. Alright, we were gonna do this screen, so let's just do it. How did pick 8 start? We started by drawing with color 13, which I designated as okay, the shoreline there. Or did I just draw? I did draw over it. I ended up just erasing it anyway. But it's where the grass meets the sand. So, yeah. We'll use the same thing. Don't fall asleep on me just because this music is playing. Stop there and draw a log of some description. Oh, there's shade up there. That doesn't make sense. Let's just go up like that. Right, and we'll do next. The water line there, 23. This music's a little louder. Where the water, the very tip, touches this shoreline. The sand, the dry sand. We used to have this animated too, but that won't be possible. Some more opacity here, just a bit. Bye. Then it's like gray and yellow. I did end up doing that same shade. What should I do about that? I guess I'll cut it off there. The next thing is, oh, someone's driving outside pretty loud. That looks like blue and yellow. You. Blue and blue. There's a lot more colors here than what I appear to have. Oh no, there's a few more. Okay. So I'm going to do blue. Blue and blue, blue and blue, and then blue. I hope my shadows weren't too long. Nope, shadows are fine. I know the shadows are kind of shorter because it's more kind of a midday vibe, which is... But I mean, if you copied the AGI original, that's fine. And it seems like you did. There. Okay. Alright, now this shaded part. How did I handle this over here? Kind of comes out right to the edge. Okay. Well, I'm just going to close everything off with this blue line. Call that the ocean. That. Turn this off for a second. And oh, that's not the right color. Yellow and blue, that's what I need. Where's yellow and blue? Right here? No. Yeah, yellow and blue, where is it? Did I change palette colors in the middle of my drawing? I try not to do that anymore. Up here. Oh, there it is, 15. I just didn't see it. Okay. And then gray and yellow. And there's our shoreline. Now for the log. Let's try brown. Log. See, I don't want to copy the original. So what I should do instead is get rid of the tracing and just draw something here. So based on priority. Considering how big that log was, maybe it should be even bigger compared to this gram. That big. But I have to get rid of these lines. Let's get rid of everything to... Whoops. Everything to there. And I can redraw later, but yeah, I want to try that. Okay, so if it's a red log, let's see. That's a weird shaped log. Like some MS Paint crap. Best of luck with the logs and art in general. I gotta get going. Thanks for dropping by, Slad. Thank you again for the screen. And I'll see you later. Not enough perspective going on there. It's too high. Too high on the screen. This can't be such a straight line, I don't think. Move it around. We can change the location of this log. It doesn't need to be in the same space, same place. Maybe. Still trees we gotta put in, but we can still do that. A brown log, priority-wise. Ooh, more art. Yes, more art. What's the log for in the gameplay? Absolutely nothing. But it's an interesting decorative piece. Maybe I shouldn't copy its orientation or anything. Maybe I should just... No, this is where I fail because I'm not as much of an artist. I don't need to copy that. There's nothing going on in the screen. You find a clam, and there's a bracelet underneath it in the screen. That's what happens. You don't even move the log to find it. It's right here. But I can change the placement of anything, which is kind of what I've been wanting to do anyway. Death of Dr. Carrington from Laura Bow 2. It just says... when Tom from Quest Studios made a lot of his digital soundtracks, he didn't bother filling in the ID3 tags with anything. It just says Sierra Soundtracks Volume 3. The artist is Sierra Online, and the album is Sierra Soundtracks Volume 3. So that could be what it is, I don't know. The file name says track18.ogg, so there's no way to know. Unless you got the track list from the website. I'll have to do that all manually someday. Maybe I'll do it like this direction instead of this direction, just to be more interesting. Say, actually I wouldn't use black, I'd probably use black and brown. If this was a purple log, I'd do it this way. Put it this long, but then there'd be trees in the background too, which I gotta think of, but I can deal with that later. Too big in the back. This is King's Quest V, the Crystal Garden. You know, all logs aren't just straight cylindrical, so let's make some bumps. Bump on the logs, if you will. Right about here, I should change it to black. A little jagged like that. Too straight. Give it some character. Come on, zoom in. It's hard to get those coordinates. Those coordinates that you really want. I played the tune on the piano even though I've never played the game. That's pretty much my only reason for recognizing it. Oh. Okay. So we can fill in this. And I'll add some darker details to the bottom. In fact, you know what? I should draw that as black. This line down here. This should be black and brown, maybe. Just trying to anticipate. Okay. The top will be just straight brown, I guess. And we'll have brown and gray on this side. Oh, this one. L's music in King's Quest V. I'll give you the shoes. Oh, this is the closing medley. Well, so it's got a theme from a bunch of games. And how should I do the details of the inside? Maybe black and brown. That's nice, but the brown is... I don't like the way this... These browns are opposite of each other. So let's put the brown to be... There we go. That sits better. Much nicer dithering pattern. I do want some black in there for contour. highlights. We do gray and brown on the top. Whoops. Went outside the lines. Don't color outside the lines. It's starting to look like a log now, eh? Maybe some black and brown in certain spots. You know what though? This part here should definitely just be black. Go back to black and brown there. We need straight up black, I think. Some spots. Well, it looks like wood. Maybe this end part should not be that color. Maybe it should be this color? No. That's too King's Quest 4. It's not something King's Quest 1 would do, I feel like. And that seems too bright as well. We need a new color, I think. Or what about that green and... I'm missing a bunch of text, I'm sorry. Shorter meeting than I thought. Oh, well, welcome back, Davor. Also, I figured out what Colonel's Bequest is doing, and it's so smart for Lantern. Colonel's Bequest has a Lantern too? I didn't play through that game, so I'm not sure what it looks like. I imagine they're using a similar trick to what's being done in Space Quest 2 in that tunnel leading to the Pincoons Valley? Pincoons? Pinkins? Pincoons. It's not Pincoons. Pincoons. Layer 1 Ego, Layer 2 background with same cutouts, Layer 3 Lantern Bubble, brown with yellow center, Layer 4 background with no cutouts. Ah. Layer 1 is Ego, Layer 2 is the background with some cutouts. Yeah, it's crazy what they do, eh? I have the glow of the lantern be at a lower priority, thus being obscured by the background a bit. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Popping in a few views that mimic dynamic lighting. Support posts. Oh, okay. If I recall correctly, that technique actually astonished even some of Sierra's own developers the first time it was used. A very creative way to make use of the priority system. Yeah, that's what I was recounting earlier. I was talking about the Space Quest 2 glowing gem scene, which still amazes me. We were looking at King's Quest 4 earlier, and they have rocks with a priority, a normal priority, but then the shadows on them will be in a lower priority, and so the lantern light will be drawn on top of the rock, but underneath the shadows, so it looks like it's casting shadows on the rock. That's how King's Quest 4 did it. Same thing over here. And here. You can see that. The overlay views would make it feel even more natural. Yeah. Because Lantern is superior to King's Quest 4. I believe it. Let's take a look at it. Which screen is it on? I've never played through it. Let's take a look at it. Which screens is it on? Well, let's keep this open so we can look at the priority. It's in the basement. Okay. Basement. Not here, obviously. Storage room, not a basement. Down here? No, that's the cellar. Down here. Is what we're talking about? That's it. Okay, let's open these two and take a look. I'm really curious. So we definitely have the priority shadows there, which teal is is 2 higher than blue. And over here we have a couple over there. This is not decompiled either. Let's do that quickly. Manage decompilation. Select all, decompile. Especially with the dino skeleton. There's a screen 1 or 3 numbers later that I think pops in views. Okay. What Space Quest has the crystals? 3. 2. 3 has it, but you don't use it to look around because it's dimmed quite a bit since then. You just use it to sell for money in Space Quest 3. Space Quest 2 has it. There's a screen 1 or 3 numbers later that pops in just a wide tunnel. Okay, we've decompiled now. So if we go to its script, room 65. What is room 65? 65. There we go. Picture 65. Oh, here, I see. Underground over here. This must be the tunnel right here, because there's absolutely nothing on it. But in priority, we have a tunnel cave system. Room 55. We have rock 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then timber 1 and 2. So these rocks, oh, they don't have a view attached to them. Eyes. Low of highlight. Interesting, it's not setting the view. Ah, I got something in my eye. It's not setting the view. Good morning, Sir Marks a lot. Good to see you. Reveals a big pile of bodies as you get closer to them by having different lit versions. Oh. Timber has to be views, right? Timber 1 and 2. No views. It must be set somewhere else in the script. So... okay, the rock 1. View 155. Yeah, this is very complicated. Okay, what's view 155? There we go, look at that. So that's like a post. Oh! It's using each... holy cow! It's not animated, right? That's... depending on where you're standing, it puts different amount of light on the... wow! I mean, it doesn't animate, but it's just kind of showing the light, so it's not flickering, but even so, depending on where you're standing, it changes the view. That's next level stuff for a 2D game. Like if we do this, it shows the contour of the rock, but it's just depending on where you're standing. Holy cow! And then there's these little... I don't know what that's for. You know what, it must, of course, each... so 7... okay, so I was gonna say each loop must have the same number of cells so that it can program exactly which, based on your position, let's say distance from the object, and whether it's positive or negative on the X or Y value, it will it would automatically select the right cell, but it must do it individually instead of globally because there's different cell counts on each one. Well, that has 7. These rocks all have 7. This little thing has 15, 16, really. I don't know what these are. This is absolutely fascinating. Yeah, we've got delta X and delta Y going on here. So it's assigning arrays? Is that what those are? There's sparkles in the rock wall. That's insane. You'd have to position them at certain... Okay, Okay, so loop 4, 5, and 6 are the sparkles on the wall. It's not there. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it depends on ecolocation. Simple in concept, but very creative technique. Yeah, once you work it out, looks pretty smooth in game, but you can still tell if you know what you're looking for, because it's not as smooth as the cutout lantern. Okay. This is so cool. There's sparkles in the wall. You saying its object being affected by the light is scripted based on the location of the character? Yes. Yes, and so it selects the appropriate cell based on where you're standing. So let's see here. Room 50. Pick 55. The control colors are no different. So it must all be handled by script coordinates. There's also... Is it this room? This room has a whole bunch of control colors going on here. So green would send you to a new room there. Blue send you up the stairs, I guess. Brown is probably, yeah, it's a death. It's a hole. The red does something, triggers something before you change rooms. And all of these are probably similar to my water script. When you're walking and wading and swimming in the water, I use different colors, but it's the same concept. So room 52. So we don't have any names for colors, but we know if ego's on control number 0, this color. And ego's mover is not equal to 0. So does that mean if he's moving or if he's not moving? Change ego's loop. I'd have to actually play through the screen to see how this works, but that is pretty insane. I'm going to be... If I end up doing something more advanced with SCI, I'll definitely be referencing these scripts for lighting like that. That's so cool. That's so cool. Animation attached to ego position. Okay. There's a video of that screen in the kernel's request. Let's check it out. And so yeah, you can see that there. The lantern light is being drawn behind the shadows, and it's only peeking through on those thin little where is it? Those thin blue ones, the light's peeking through, because teal is a higher color than blue. That doesn't make sense, it's opposite. Oh yeah, that makes sense. So the light is in front of the blue, so it's green. So it's being drawn in front of the blue, but behind the teal. That's why they're two colors separated. And then there's the post. Yeah, you can see it's not as smooth. See, when you're standing here, it lights up the lower end, and then as you get closer, it moves. It doesn't animate, though. I imagine you could get it to animate, but then you'd have one view for each object instead of one loop for each object in the same view, which is what they did. And then each loop could be a position of animating cells. So you could do it. It'd just be more disk space, which obviously they wanted to save on. And there's the rock down there. That's so cool. Now that I see it in action, I can understand it. I wonder if that's using distance 2 code. Distance. Nope, it's not using distance 2. Is it just based on hard... Look at this vertical angle. Is this using like trigonometry crap in a 2D game to calculate fake 3D positions? It's no wonder that this screen is entirely almost one-dimensional. Like, as far as moving is concerned, you can only move inside these 2 white lines. Because if you went up and down any more than that, it would be... This was showcasing what SCI can do. That's what this whole screen was for. Because if you went up and down, the lighting would change, so it keeps you as strict on a vertical plane as possible. Almost entirely. Little rocks really still really sell it. So small but tricks you so well. Yeah, actually use it a little in the basement screen. What are all the colored lines over the cave? Are you talking about this? These are just guides. The priority band colors. There's 16 of them, and depending on what colors there are on the screen, it determines what's drawn behind what, basically. They're just guides, they're not actually in the game, just so you can see where they are. They're invisible. But anything drawn teal, this teal color here would be priority color 0, 1, 2, 3. Priority 3. So anything higher than a higher priority than 3 would be drawn in front of it. Anything lower would be drawn behind it. Equal to and above it would be drawn on top of it. So that's how they're doing the glowing light here. As you can see, the light is peeking out behind the solid teal and only showing up where it's dark blue. That's insane. Does that make sense? Anyway, we got down a rabbit hole there. I was making this vlog. It still kind of looks like it's not changing. It looks too isometric. I gotta make it look smaller as it goes to the back. I'm going to do this. Just move that. This is Heart of China, I recognize that. Something like that. Just make sure it's not coloring outside the lines. There. I just need to change this ugly color because I don't like it. I need a different color, I think. I need a... Well, this was too light. So what if I did yellow and dark gray? Can we add that to the palette, see what that looks like? Probably not going to use this purple. There we go. I still don't like how bright it is. It's got to be darker. What if we did just grays? Maybe I'm using too much dithering. Let's try dark gray and nothing else. Okay, I just need to get rid of those brown lines, I think. If I change those brown lines to that, now it no longer looks like rings. Zoom in. Okay, now let's just set the priority for this whole thing, which should be, if I'm not mistaken, red? Purple. We drew it a little lower, so make it purple. Turn it off. And now we've got a log that we can walk behind. The only problem is that's why people don't do objects like this, because now even if I'm in front of it, I'll be drawn behind it. Now, how will we solve this problem? I could make it so you can't walk up here, maybe put a rock here or a tree. That's one idea, to put a tree right here, so I can't walk up here, so that I'd be drawn behind the log. I could make it so the log changes color in priority as it goes up, but I have to be very careful with how that works, because right here, like if I change the color here, for instance, I wouldn't be able to walk up at a certain spot or behind it. Priority colors. So priority, it just, sorry, I kind of went on and left you in the dust there. The priority colors are used to control walk behind. So it's just which section of the image has priority over another in the drawing order. It's how you can get the 3D effect of walk behind. So if I choose one screen that has a lot of walk behinds, let's say, but not too complicated, the mermaid screen here. So here's your screen. How does the game determine that you can walk behind things or not? If this was, what's to say if I was up here that I wouldn't be drawn in front of everything? Well, that's why you set these colors. And they're determined by location. So this object here needs to be red, because anything drawn above that red color will be drawn behind it. So if I set my priority to default priority, if I'm down here, I walk in front of it. But since I'm drawn below the priority line of red here, I get drawn behind it. Same thing with this rock here, which is a priority purple, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, priority color 5. And these are preset in the game. You can't change them. So each color corresponds to a certain Y value. Y coordinate value. Same thing with this rock down here, which I'm assuming is green? No, cyan. So that's just what they're used for. Does that make sense now? Because a 3D adventure game by Sierra is perspective based, anything higher on the screen, so Y coordinates that go down, because Y coordinates count from 0 down to 190, and X coordinates go 0 to 319, because it's 320 by 200, and the top 10 pixels are for the status bar, which isn't part of the picture. Anything higher on the screen would be further in the background, right? So that's how they use it's, you know, that's how perspective works. So they fake being able to walk behind things by saying, okay, if I'm... let's just get rid of him for a second. Let's just say the mouse cursor point right here. If I'm at this point on the screen... Well, I guess I'll have to use this. If I'm at this point on the screen, I want to be drawn in front of that rock. So if the rock... The bottom of the rock coordinates are lower than... lower in number than my position on the screen, he'll be drawn on top of it. But if I'm above it, I want to be drawn behind it. The only way to do that is to set priority band colors. Yes. And they correspond to a number, so there's 16 of them, because there's 16 colors. So there's 16 possible priority bands that you can take advantage of for walk-behinds. So because this is right next to the... what color is this one again? Purple? So this rock is right on the purple line. So Graham will be drawn in front of it because he's the same color as him. But if he's drawn behind it... I can show you this in-game, actually. It might be easier to understand, seeing it in action. I have some debug commands to show this. Let's go down to that screen. Okay, so right here. If I do Alt-P, this won't be in the final game, but I can do this to show you. And it's good for bug testing too. So depending on where I am on the screen, Ego changes colors based on what priority band colors he's walking over. If he's the same color or a higher color than something, he's drawn in front of it. If he's a color underneath it, he gets drawn behind it. So red is a color just above purple, which is just one number lower. So because Graham is now red and the rock is purple, we're drawn behind it. This rock face is red, so I'm by the time I go behind it, I'm teal colored. And if I'm the same color, red or purple, I get drawn in front of it. See that? And down here, same thing. This is cyan, so I get drawn behind it until I become cyan or a color in front of it, and I get drawn in front of it. And they're all over the game. Some rooms get pretty crazy with it. For instance, where'd I go? All the way up here. For instance, this screen is insane because I also need to draw my reflection. So this was a really complicated scene. It really involves wrapping your head around how priorities work to get everything to be drawn in the proper order. Like, I want my reflection to be drawn in front, behind the reflection of the tree, just like I'm drawn behind the tree up here. And if I'm in front of it, I want to be in front of it and the reflection as well. So everything has a different draw order, and it's probably the most complicated screen you can make. I'm gonna catch up here on some things here. Kind of derailed you, but I was excited to share. No, that was great. Thanks for derailing. It's a cool technique. I remember writing my own AGI interpreter years ago, and that tunnel effect in Space Ghost 2 was one of the first I looked at to see how it worked, and this one is even more advanced and cooler. Yeah, the Colonel's Bequest one. I love the Heart of China theme. Yeah, it's nice. Shadon, how did you come to understand how to write that tunnel effect? Was there a web page or video you referenced? I reverse engineered the entire AGI engine and created one of my own for Windows. That allowed me to peek into the internals of any AGI game. Is it you that made NAGI? Or you just made one private for yourself? Because I know there was a Windows interpreter called NAGI that could play AGI games in Windows. A limb from the lock. Need a control color walk area that sets the priority of Graham. Yeah. Reverse. Okay. I'm sorry. Still don't get. That way you can just draw an area ahead of the log that puts Graham on top, and draw an area behind Jim that sets Graham's priority. Yep. Cloud lines basically. Yeah. I did something similar with my dad, which is basically how I learned programming. Man, I wish I'd gotten into this stuff when I was a kid. There's so much more I want to understand about reverse engineering and decompiling and disassembling.
As it is, I'm just a novice programmer at best. I can script an SCI game and write a couple C programs, but nothing too advanced. But I'd really like to understand how some of this stuff works, like even the low-level stuff, like we were having a conversation on the Space Quest Historian Discord about making different drivers. Some people have made fan-made drivers that will make Sierra games work on devices that they were never designed for, but with these drivers you can. So someone made a couple different CGI composite drivers, which would look black and white if you were on a computer monitor, but if you had a composite monitor, I said composite, didn't I? If you had a composite monitor, it would be in color, so, which is a very old technique of hitting color on older screens. So I'd like to understand more of that stuff. I'm not sure where to begin, or reverse. Like, I understand a little bit about hex editing and byte coding and stuff, but not enough to understand, without a lot of time and thinking and effort, understand what might be going on and comparing, which I know is just the process you gotta go through, but I don't know if I have time to these days. Usually cannot tell because of the skill of the artist, but the items are all layout out on those 14 horizontal bands, not counting 0 and 15, which are always behind, always in front. That's true. So really, I guess it's technically 14 colors that you can play around with anyway. That reflection work is insane. Thank you for taking the time to explain it to me. No problem. If you understand it, I'm happy to. I'm happy that I explained it to you. I'm getting cut off on my own screen. There we go. No wonder it was all messed up. I didn't set my thing up properly. Anyway. Never released it, but it was first made even before Sarian. Oh, wow. Which eventually ended up being merged into ScumVM. Right, it did. I never... Okay, shit on. That's incredible. He must be really smart. He must be. Like to try and get into these games and understand how they worked. How would I get started with that? There's... If you download SCI Companion, there's a lot of documentation that explains how things work. The template game that comes with it, that gets you started, is very well documented. Like, the different lines of code are commented, but the documentation on the website is very thorough, I think. And if you understand the basics of programming, I think it'll get you started pretty easily. I'd like to try and get into these games. Yeah, I did Super Mario 64 hacking before it was decompiled into C, so all in assembly. See, I guess it's just assembly I need to understand. That would probably open up a world of difference, would it? Likely. Okay, we're 5 minutes from 11. I'll leave this problem with the log for Thursday, I think, and finish this later. I like the way the log looks. I just need to make sure the walk behinds are proper. He's drawn in front of it right now, or he's drawn behind it, and he shouldn't be. But that's the problem with diagonal objects. So I have to get creative. Maybe I'll put a tree in front of it. That might be all I can do, and cut you off right here. So that you can't walk up here to the point where you'd be drawn behind it. Put a big tree and rocks or something next to it. It's just a visual thing anyway, but I kind of like the look of it now. And yeah, this will be where the clam is, so let's save it. Export as patch file. Adventures. Mine, SCI games, kick you to SCI project. You can see I have a lot of SCI projects that I've just kind of played around with. Back to the Future, there's nothing there, don't worry about it. Batman, nothing. Explorer. I don't know what that is. I did a SCI intro to the Infamous Adventures logo. I'm editing King's Quest V to have no dead ends, which is quite a chore. My Kingdom of Sorrow demo I showcased a couple weeks ago. King's Quest 1 VGA, which I'm taking AGGI's King's Quest 1 remake and remaking it in SCI in VGA. King's Quest 2, obviously. This is my attempt to nightify the King's Quest 4 screens. King's Quest 4 VGA, King's Quest 4 VGA EGA, King's Quest 6 Saber. This is a video I did on my YouTube channel. You can see it, where I changed the final duel between Alhazred and Alex. Instead of swords, you have lightsabers. And I redrew all the views to be lightsabers and redid the sound effects, and even rewrote some of the text. And so if you lose, Alhazred cuts your head off with the lightsaber. This was a lightsaber color cycling test I was doing at one point. Monkey Island SCI, Mist SCI. My little point and click demo I tried before we were able to do VGA games. Riven. Space Quest 1 VGA Retro. This was a project I started years and years ago as well, to change the graphics in Space Quest 1 VGA to look more like the EGA design and not that pulp sci-fi 40s 30s look thing. Space Quest 2 SCI, another very old thing that doesn't get very far. Space Quest 4 with the classic blue and red logo from Space Quest 1 with a cycle and everything. And then some other things I just fiddling around with. Blue Regamer. Thank you for, or is it Blur E-Gamer? Blur E-Gamer, Blue Regamer. Thank you for following. Appreciate it. Is that the best one, SCI Interpreter, or what about the SCI 2? SCI Companion will open SCI games that use SCI 0, SCI 0.1, SCI 1, SCI 1.1, and SCI 2 or SCI 32. It'll open them. You can only compile scripts, though, up to SCI 1.1. You can decompile scripts for SCI 2 and SCI 32, but you can't compile. So we can look around and see how they did things in like Space Quest 6, King's Quest 7, but we can't make any changes. On the script side of things, anyway. But did my log solution make sense? I missed what you said about that. Need a control color walk area that sets the priority of Graham. Yes. Would that not be much different, though, from just changing the priority color of the log? Based on what... I feel like that would just be compensating and just duplicating, wouldn't it? That way you can just draw an area ahead of the log that puts Graham on top, and draw an area behind him that sets... Okay, I did read this before. I guess I didn't understand that's what you're referring to. That sets Graham's priority behind it. Yeah. Yeah. I guess that isn't as simple as just changing the priority colors of the log. Because you could have different control colors. Yeah. Okay, that's probably what I'll try on Thursday. That does make sense. Where did you find these old games to load into the SCI interpreter? You can use the SCI command to dig into King's Quest 7 and Space Quest 6. Yes, you can. It does. It would be similar to the ground and the screen in my demo, the reflections on. Yeah. Star Trek SCI. Star Wars Heir to the Empire, that's something. I programmed the entire Star Wars opening crawl in SCI. With the words going up, it's very janky, but it works. Zelda, I drew a EGA sprite of Link in SCI. Just some fun stuff I was doing. Just all ideas. I'm like, what if I could do this? And sometimes it goes further than others. Sometimes it just, I'm do it and I'm done with it. But so this is picture 22. So I'll save it. So yes, it's 11 a.m. now. I want to catch the Nintendo Direct because I'm really excited to see if they're going to showcase anything with Zelda. So I'm going to end her here, and we'll be back on Thursday. Okay, I'll see you Thursday. I'm going to watch this now. See you later, guys.